Inasmuch then as the children have partaken of flesh and blood, he himself likewise shared in the same, that through death he might destroy him who had the power of death, that is, the devil, and release those who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For indeed, he does not give aid to angels, help, but he does give aid to the seed of Abraham. The writer is very clear. He's drawing a distinction. Pay attention. He is drawing a distinction between the nature of the relationship of God and the angels and that of God and man, or specifically here, the seed of Abraham. There are certain things that are being said here in between the lines that were just understood by a first century Jew. And so what I want to do is I want to dig into this passage and show you how deep it really goes. I want to identify who these angels are in the context by which the writer is used. He doesn't give aid to angels. Well, I need to tell you, he's actually detailing a specific type of angel. A specific type. And this is what I'm saying. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if God did not spare the angels who sinned. Now look at this. Peter is talking about angels, and he said, for if God did not spare, he did not give aid. He did not give help to who? To specific type of angels, the angels who sinned. Let me take it a step further. Take you to Jude. And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode. In other words, their proper domain, their abode was Shemaim. It was heaven. And that's where they should have stayed. He has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. And so Peter's saying the same thing the writer of Hebrews is saying. Jude is saying the same thing that Peter's saying and what the writer of Hebrews is saying. You know what's interesting is this. When Jude made this statement, where he's talking about these angels, these fallen angels, the angels who have sinned, do you know what he had in his mind? Do you know what a first century Jew would have in their mind? The book of Enoch. And all you need to do is continue on in the passage, jumping to verse 14, and this is what we read. Now Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about these men also, saying, behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment on all, to convict all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have committed in an ungodly way, and of all the harsh things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. And so this is the book that he's drawing from. As Jude is talking about these fallen angels, he's drawing from the book of Enoch, and he literally quotes it verbatim. And I will tell you, that's exactly what Peter had in mind. I will tell you that is exactly what the writer of Hebrews has in mind. I'm taking you on a little bit of a journey here for a reason. And it is a critical reason. If you want to feel the depth and the gravity of the statement that the writer of Hebrews is making in verse 16, simply by saying he did not give aid to angels, I need you to see something specific in the book of Enoch. For those of you who are not familiar with the book, it is the backdrop of Genesis 6, where we learn that these angels come down and they have relations with women and they bear children. All right? There's something here that is critical in all of this. And this is what we read. Enoch 12:3, and I, Enoch, was blessing the Lord of majesty and the King of the ages, and lo, the watchers called me. And Enoch the scribe and said to me, verse 4, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of Shemaim, what? Who have left the high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives, yea, have wrought great destruction on the earth. And ye shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. And inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see. And over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity, but mercy and peace shall ye not attain. You need to feel what these angels, what has been prophesied over these angels of what's going to happen. You wanted families? You wanted to have offspring like the men of the earth, and you went and did this? The last thing you're going to see is them destroyed before your face. Now, continuing on. And Enoch went and said, Azazel, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds, and thou shalt have no toleration nor request granted to thee because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid. Fear and trembling seized them. And they besought me to draw up a petition for them that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of the Lord of heaven. Enoch takes that petition, he presents it to the Lord. And this is where it continues. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me, and I saw visions of chastisement, and a voice came bidding me to literally tell it to the sons of heaven and reprimand them. Enoch tells the angels this: I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has finally been passed on you. Yea, your petition will not be granted to you. They were begging for mercy. God, have mercy. Please have mercy on us. Who else are they going to turn to? This is the God of heaven and earth. And they are completely rejected. So here's the thing. When we read this, for indeed, he does not give aid to angels. Feel the weight of that. Understand that they begged for mercy. And then he goes on, and yet he does give aid to the seed of Abraham. He gives aid. He gives hope. However, after defining the term angels and knowing that we're dealing with a specific type of angel that the writer of Hebrews is referencing, it is only fair to go onto the other side of the tracks. You have to define who the seed of Abraham is, because that's the only one that is given aid. I want to take you to John chapter 8, verse 38. This is Yeshua speaking. He says, I speak what I have seen with my Father, and you do what you have seen with your father. Now, his audience is Jewish. He's speaking to his Jewish beloved brethren, and all of a sudden he tells them that he has a different father. He makes a distinction. Okay, I have one father, you have another father. Well, how do they respond to this statement? Well, as you go on, verse 39, then the Jews answered and said to Yeshua, Abraham is our father. Them coming back and saying, declaring Abraham is their father, what they're saying is, listen, we are the legitimate heirs of the covenant. We are children of promise. We are children of hope. We have a future. The inheritance that was promised to our father Abraham, it is our inheritance. In other words, they're declaring we have an identity. We know who we are. We are children of God. See, because that is the most critical component to the covenant given to Abraham. You can go back and read Genesis 17, and what you will see, the most important part of it is, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. It's the most important part of the whole covenant, and this is what they're declaring. We are the children of God. How does Yeshua respond to that? Yeshua said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. What a scary response. Because Yeshua challenged them and said, you are not the children of Abraham. And yet in the same chapter, and I didn't show it to you, but in the same chapter, he acknowledges that they are physical descendants of Abraham. Or what you would call the seed, the Zerah or Zeraim, the seed of Abraham. See, but biblically defining this, spiritually defining this term, there's a little more to it. The Apostle Paul in Romans 9, verse 6 says, but it is not that the word of God has taken no effect, for they are not all Israel who are of Israel, nor are they all children because they are the seed of Abraham. But And Yitzhak, Isaac, your seed shall be called. That is, those who are children of the flesh. These are not children of God, but the children of promise are counted as the seed. Talk about an amazing way to define this term that the writer of Hebrews is using, absolutely critical. It's not talking explicitly in regard to physical descendants. No. What we're talking about is Galatians 3:7. Therefore, know only those who are of faith are sons of Abraham. Faith, you must believe. Jumping to verse 29. And if you are Messiahs, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. You have to confess them. So when we see this passage in Hebrews 2:16, he only gives aid to the seed of Abraham. You better understand what that means. It's only those who confess Yeshua as the Messiah. They dedicate their lives, they commit their lives to following him. They will become the seed. Jew to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. This should make sense because what we've been talking about the last couple weeks is what's the whole point the writer is trying to convey here? You cannot neglect so great a salvation. His whole point, the writer of Hebrews, is you need Yeshua. Well, he's talking to the physical descendants. So clearly the writer of Hebrews is using this term, seed of Abraham, in the exact context that we see it being used throughout Scripture, throughout the New Testament. It is in the context only that you need Yeshua. You must have him. And then you can become the seed of Abraham. That's where the forgiveness is. Forgiveness which the angels of God in heaven do not have.
Hey there, this is Mike at Corner Fringe Ministries. Thanks for watching our video. If you liked the video or it encouraged you, do us a favor. Hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the share. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Now, if you want to watch the rest of this video, hit the button here. And if you want to watch the rest of this series, you can check it out here. And don't forget, you can download the Corner Fringe Ministries app today on any of your Play stores. Thanks for joining us at Corner Fringe Ministries.